Hi, welcome. We're so excited today that we have Dr. Robert Shiepe here with us, and he's going to tell us what he's been seeing from his home above Marina Del Rey in California. Dr. Shiepe, do you want to just maybe get started? Tell us how you discovered what you're seeing, and then what you're seeing.
Okay, real quick, a brief summary of my life. Born and raised Los Angeles. I knew at the age of 4 I was going to be a scientist, and I became a pharmacist. I knew at 10 I'd be a pharmacist. I did. I started the first mail order pharmacy in 1986 in the country. Worked out very well. Retired in 2012. And then in 2017, something very interesting. I live in Marina Del Rey. Something very interesting happened. The Coast Guard and the Navy Black Hawks flew into Marina Del Rey 200 or 300 feet and hovered for 4 hours. And they did that every day for 14 days. I found that to be very odd. So toward the end, I pulled out my camcorder and started to record them. And sure enough, I could see these small objects flying up to the helicopters. And essentially, it's never stopped. That was in 2017. It actually grew, and it got to the point where basically every helicopter in the Pentagon has been here and is still here. And I did record all of them. I have all the videos. So I have in excess of 4,000 videos. But basically, what's going on is the military is very familiar with something's going on here. They have knowledge that there's these small objects. Long story short, we think they're drones, UFO drones, very fast, 2,000 miles an hour. That was confirmed by the Pentagon and also by my own calculations. They trigger the X and K band spectrum. I have a car radar detector attached to my tripod on my camera. 8% of the times it will trigger the X and K band. 8% of the time they also leave a clicking sound on the video, a click. And they do fly behind helicopters, so that kind of eliminates birds and bugs. And then once in a while, I will record white orbs, and there's no such thing as a white bug. So again, these are not bugs or birds. And I have a channel, Custodian File. I have taught people very easily how to record these, and they're sending them to me. And it's really worldwide. This is happening everywhere. It's very simple. I'm probably taking something really super complicated, like how do you detect and find UFOs, and make it so simple. It's just, again, I've studied science for over 60 years, so maybe that helps. Essentially, you see a helicopter, an airplane, take your phone, hold it landscape sideways, zoom in just like 10, 20%, not too much. You want like 1,000 feet around the aircraft, record for 30 seconds and look for a tiny dot. That will be the small UFOs. You will only see one frame because they're very fast. Now I do call these, because the first year I was recording this, I was certain these are bugs. These are bugs. In the end, they're got to be dragonflies, because they kind of resemble a dragonfly, like 30%. They have wings, but dragonfly have 4 wings, and these have 2. But approximately the silhouette, the corona is it's just, I would have put money that it has to be a dragonfly. So I still call them dragons. They're not birds or bugs. They're extremely predictable. As a matter of fact, I'm going to teach you a lot really quickly. Oh my gosh, we're getting a treat. So there's this free app called Plane Finder. There's like 2 or 3 of them, but I like this one. It's really easy. And I just look at it. When I'm on my computer right now, I look to my right. And what's going on right now, actually, this was all unplanned. The police are flying in at this very second. They're flying into Marina Del Rey. And if you go to planefinder.net and you look at the timeline, so this is very routine. This is the police, the Army, the Navy. They're very, very predictable. So I've taken the liberty already. I have my camera on, my tripod on. I have it plugged into my big screen. And when he gets within basically 5,000 feet, Now, ground zero is the jetty rocks. If you go on Google Map and you look at Marina Del Rey, there's these jetty rocks. They stop the waves from coming into the marina. It's 2,200 feet long. That's ground zero. When you fly over that, these things will fly up to you. Very, very predictable. I call it a tag when they fly up to you. So literally, as we're speaking, the LAPD, the 668, is coming in. He's about 30 seconds away. I can see him I can see the Marina Del Rey on my big screen right now. So I was hoping something like this would happen. So right when he gets onto the into the frame of the big screen, I will tell you if I see the dragon fly by.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm recording it already. So you can just.
So we'll be able to show that this is happening. That's cool.
100%. It's I'm in Los Angeles. Its time is 4:08, 4:09. And he should be coming into view in about 10 seconds. I'm looking at Plane Finder and I'm looking at my TV. This will be a hell of a trick. I mean, if this works. But here he is. Okay, he's coming in. Oh, I should have zoomed in more.
This is kind of cool.
I might have to go back and review that. Yeah, I'm not going to, I should have zoomed in more. He is flying by right now. Okay, I'm just going to have to the show. I'm going to have to review the tape at 4:08. And okay. There, I'll make you the copy. Sure enough, yeah. But cool. This happens, let's say, I won't say 100%, 90%. I tell people between 30 and 90% of the time. Is very likely he got tagged. Usually I zoom within 1,000 feet of the helicopter. So yeah, I mean, I know this is a lot of information very quickly. I get it. But I do have a heavy science background. I just don't say things off the top of my head. I really give it a lot of thought. And I've been doing this now for 7 years, 14,000 hours of research, 4,000 videos. Any helicopter you can imagine, I have these small UFO dragons flying up to that helicopter. So what does that mean? Well, of course, the police, the sheriff, the fire department, the Army, the Ospreys, the Apaches, the Black Hawks, the Lakotas, the Coast Guard. It's LiDAR choppers that now they're bringing in LiDAR. Even NASA's been here flying around.
Do you have a theory as to why that area is such a hot spot?
That's a great question. A lot of people ask that. I would have to assume there's some type of underwater base nearby. And if you are familiar, they did find like 20 years ago, they found an underwater base off the coast of Malibu, which is like 33 miles north of me exactly. Mm-hmm. It's been on Google Map ever since they found it like 20 years ago. I've been doing these podcasts for like a year or two now, and I often bring it up. And I got to tell you now, as of 3-4 months ago, the image of that underwater base has now been deleted. Sat down with the intel community. I give lectures at the Air Force Base. It's been on Discovery Channel, my videos. I do other podcasts. It's no longer top secret. The word is out. There's something underwater because the military does fly up and they fly in circles over the water. So with their cameras, they can see these things going in and out of the water. And not only that, the Navy and other research vessels have been here, and I've documented all that. 2 of them in 2020 were here for 9 months. Wow. And before they left, they took a mini submarine, they dropped it in the water, and went around the jetty rocks for 1 hour. I recorded it all. They pulled it out of the water. And let me give you names because I know people they don't know who I am. So the name of those 2 ships were the Decisive and the Ocean Investigator. And then 2 years ago, like 2022, the USS Gabriella Gifford, a Navy warship, came and parked at the jetty rocks in front. And they repeated the same thing. Except they brought out some very high-tech equipment. But nevertheless, the dragons were all over our ships. So in the future, when the Navy starts saying, hey, you know, this ship got tagged and the USS Oklahoma got tagged, in all fairness, they should bring up the USS Gabriella Gifford also, because I have all that video. So it's a very big, quiet deal. It's ongoing, and some of your viewers are scared. I was scared for 100 days. I'm like, what is going on here? This is like too close. I get it. UFOs are real if they're 100 miles away from you. But when they kind of like would get within a mile or less, then it's like, hold on, I got to rethink this.
Why is it that you think that they aren't our own defense mechanisms rather than UFOs? Like, what alerts you to the fact that they are UFOs instead of something protecting our military?
You mean like, are they made from the government, in other words? Yep. Well, because every single Pentagon helicopter is here looking for them. That's a great question. But also, even when the president flies over Marina Del Rey, these things fly up to the president's helicopter for the last 10 years. So who would do that? You see what I'm saying?
Well, maybe they're protecting it.
Right.
Yeah, like maybe they're creating some sort of protection around these vehicles so that other things can't get closer.
Okay, that's fair. Again, these things are all over the world. I have viewers, I have doctors, London and Brazil. They're recording, they're sending me these videos. I have a very prominent attorney friend. He's probably the #1 aviation attorney in Los Angeles. He's beyond amazed. He's doing this himself. He's beyond amazed. Again, and then plus the speed, 2,000 miles an hour, no sonic boom, and they triggered the X and K band. I get it. Could they be? I mean, there's something actually called atmospheric kill vehicles, and they were made like 34 years ago, and basically the size of a shoebox. And they're designed to shoot down missiles with kinetic energy. They travel something like over 10,000 miles an hour. So they slam into a missile and just destroys it. There's a remote possibility this could be an atmosphere kill vehicle. It's just that they're flying all over the world and with predictability.
Can I ask, when you say all over the world, are they also seen around military vehicles all over the world? Is the correlation always that the military vehicle shows up and then these also show up? I'm just curious.
First, you can record these. It would be hard to do, but you can record them if you have empty skies without. But it's very hard to do. I don't recommend it. Just wait for a helicopter or an airliner or a jet. They love going to air shows, Blue Angels, Thunderbirds. So every week, the Blue Angels, Thunderbirds are somewhere. So just every Wednesday, Thursday, I just go on YouTube because somebody will post those videos and I find new dragon video. It's really that easy. The rarest, most valuable diamond in the world are red diamonds. It's not common knowledge. I have 4 or 5 or 6 red diamond videos. They're just, you'll shake your head like this just can't be. I look at air shows. I know how to watch YouTube frame by frame. And I'm looking for that little dot. I slow it down. I find it. I copy it. I slow down the video. And then I actually go one step further. I do something called interpolations, where you copy and paste each frame, put it on one screenshot so you can see where it started, where it entered, and where it left. It really explains the video much louder, interpolations. So again, they love air shows. You pick a city, I can find a dragon flying with the Blue Angels or Thunderbirds in that city. I found the best wormhole video in the world. And go figure, this was almost not even supposed to happen. While they're up in the sky, a wormhole opens. These dragons fly out first, 10 or 12 of them. And it looks like they're escorts. Their primary function is to escort larger UFOs to see if it's safe when they come to a new planet. A tenth of a second later, it was ascertained that it's safe. And then a larger ship came out of the wormhole, flew up to the windshield and flew away. The pilot recorded everything. He posted it. When I was on the Discovery Channel, they reached out to the Navy and asked about this video. And that became real sensitive subject. And that was like, please stop asking us about this video. So I encourage you to go. Blue Angels Looking Forward, timeline 2313. It all happens in the 10th of a second. Hollywood could not do a better job. They could not make a better CGI video. It's that good.
Wow.
Again, once you kind of know where to look, dragons are kind of easy to find, but larger UFOs, those are hard to come by. Now I have, but it's taken me 7 years. I have like 3 or 4 of them, but they're hard to come by, but they're there. So in the meantime, once the larger UFOs, UAPs get to a planet, then these dragons, evidently they recon the planet. They're like, okay, we're going to kill some time. We're going to recon everything here. And now it appears logically that they could be reconning people.
Kind of have this theory that there are certain areas that we've been visiting that maybe it's easier to enter interdimensional travel in these particular areas because of like electromagnetic frequency, right, or some sort of, something.
Energy vortex.
Sure, exactly. Until we sit down with our visitors, we'll never know for sure. But yeah, there's some areas are hotter than others. It's just that's kind of curious because I do watch Plane Finder, and I'm curious, like, okay, if this is happening here, where else is it happening? My point is that on Plane Finder, to the best of my knowledge, there's only one location in the United States where the Pentagon is sending clusters of helicopters to fly in circles.
Okay.
And that is Marina Del Rey.
Okay. So this is an extra special spot on the planet right now, then. It seems to, from what, we're currently going to all these locations. It's not like we've been there 5 years ago. We've just recently been to these locations and we've seen it. We've experienced things. So
we keep getting called back to the Malibu area. We're just joking because we were there last week. And I said, I bet you will get a phone call to come back to this area next week. And then we talk to you. It's so weird. It just keeps happening. We love it there.
You know about
the special spot.
You know about them in 1992, the Malibu, all the UFOs that flew out of the water, June 14. It was either 1992 or 1995, June 14. Mm-hmm. That was a very big deal. A very big deal. But yeah, basically to the north of me, 30 miles to the north of me is the Malibu, and 30 miles south of me is Catalina. A lot of activity. And I'm like right in the middle of it.
30-mile radius.
Yeah, you've been talking about that a lot. You actually predicted that from a download.
I did.
Huh.
Yeah, it was in about 2022, about 2 years ago. And I was just sitting there and I was watching a show about Catalina Island, and I had a download as I was watching it that there's a base off of the point of Catalina Island. And then when we were visiting, talking to Whitley Strieber, and we were going to go do a meditation on the beach, and he wanted to do it right where that points to. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I had been told where to go, but it didn't make sense to me until he explained that there was an underwater base out there. So then it was like, oh, okay, this is making a lot more sense now.
It's funny you said 30-mile radius. So you know TMZ, the show. You know what that stands for? 30-mile zone.
What?
Didn't know that.
I have no idea. Interesting.
In other words, they do TV shows in a 30-mile zone. That's why they call it TMZ. Just FYI.
Well, yeah. I mean, 3 is definitely a number that occurs a lot. And we found an investigator for MUFON established something in Washington State called the 30-mile radius of Mount Rainier. And again, it's that 30-mile radius. So it just keeps repeating. And I think when things like that repeat, there's something to it. I'm sure we'll find a 30-mile radius of Bell Rock or something.
And also, for what it's worth, I had a sit down 4 years ago. I had a sit down with Dan Aykroyd. He's heavily involved in all this. I told him about what's going on very casually. Well, and I didn't tell anybody after that. I never told anyone that I had to sit down with him. Well, he was on, he did a podcast like 6 months ago, and 4 years ago, he did say, Robert, I'm going to go talk to the mayor and I'm going to go talk to the LAPD police chief. So 6 months ago, he brought up like, hey, there's something going on in Marina Del Rey. The police, the sheriff, and the fire department are complaining that these things are annoying. That's the best confession we're going to get right now, that these things are annoying. Don't expect anything. Anything.
I have a question about about how disclosure is going. And, like you said, things are a lot more open now. But why do you believe the secrecy now it's like kind of hard to cover up these secrets, and we're uncovering secrets all the time. It's quite obvious they're, consciously trying to cover these things up. So with disclosure happening, why do you think the secrecy is still there?
Maybe old habits die hard. I mean, they go back, from the 30s, 40s, 50s. And I mean, I get it that people are reluctant to change. And they tell us, oh, we're going to go crazy. We're going to be gridlock, and there's going to be screaming, and it'll be an apocalypse. No, I don't think any of that. I think the first few hours, everyone will go, wow, look at this. And then a few hours later, they'll go, let's go to dinner. I do. I really, even though technically it might be the biggest story in the century, I think we'll get past it really because we've been conditioned now. We know they're here. We've been conditioned. I think really quickly, the next thing people will be saying, well, let me see the inside of the ship. I mean, oh, this new sports car, the supercar looks good. Can I sit inside? Can I go inside? But until then, it's like a tease or anticipation, but it will quickly pass. But no, I don't see any reason for all this top secret stuff. I don't. I know people in the Air Force, and they tell me stuff. I'm not in the military. I don't have an NDA. They tell me. I heard something last week. I wish I could tell you. It's just, whoa.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Actually, my buddy didn't even want to put it in an email. He just called me. But and I understand that's what I just heard last week, kind of top secret. But UFOs, no. No, it's not top secret anymore.
No, not anymore. I've been watching your videos to prepare for this, and they're pretty incredible. And for me, watching them and how they move, I have an aerospace background, and they feel very protecting to me instead of harassing. Now, could they be these smaller dragons protecting our military from a bigger dragon, UFO or otherwise? It just the energy of it and the way they move just feels a little bit like they're our guardians. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
That's a great question. I think maybe somebody says they have a beehive mentality. They're protecting something in the water right here at the Jetty Rocks. But essentially, your question, they are protecting something, or curiosity. More than anything, it's curiosity. Who are you? Why are you here? What's going on? And like I said, they're predictable when you fly by. Also, when you exceed 150 feet, like when this paracel leaves, once he exceeds 150 feet, they're going to fly up to him. They recon, they tag the same aircraft repeatedly. They don't go on the assumption, I know you, you're safe, I won't be back. They go on the assumption, I'll be back in about a minute.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So the more you watch the videos, the more you learn, the more you pick up energy, the more you read other people's comments. But I think we're figuring this out very quickly. Personally, I think they're from our future because I get the feeling because, you find yourself trying to communicate with them and you say, okay, fly by now. And they do. Not all the time, but they do. And it gives you the tendency to there's something human going on here. There's a human connection. And if it's a human connection, it's from our future. That's what I think. And then also they fly up to the Blue Angels at the air shows. And I'm thinking, if I was 1,000 years in the future, I would want a video of, my great-great-grandson, because he was in the Navy flying. I would want a dragon flying up to his F-18 and a picture of it. I think they're almost, but they're reconning, but they're also just taking pictures like on vacation. It's bizarre. It's a very bizarre. So if you look into it again, some of you are going to go, oh no, these got to be bugs. Again, they do fly behind the choppers, and they trigger the X and K band spectrum.
Can you explain to us what that means?
Yeah, well, okay. So if you had a car radar detector in your car for speeding tickets, they're everywhere in the country. So the police have these radar guns, and they work on different frequencies, X, K, Ka bands, and it will trigger and it will ring in your car, and it will tell you slow down because you're going to get tagged for speeding. Well, as an experiment, I said, what if I took my car radar detector and attached it to my tripod? I mean, it's a 1 in 1,000 possibility because I don't know what frequency these things are operating at. I'm not an electrical engineer. I said, but you know what? You already have the car radar detector. Just put it on and see what happens. And sure enough, 8% of the time when these things fly by, you can just hear on the video, X band, K band. And I am friends with the MUFON director, New Jersey, Major Filer. He's really big time. He's really big time. He's told me a lot of stuff. This guy, if you don't know him, reach out to him. Last year, he called me and says, hey, Robert, I'm at the UFO Congress hearings. And the first part was for the media, and then the second part was top secret stuff, review. So he says, we're watching the Tic Tac video, and then we're watching your videos. I said, are you sure? He goes, yeah, we're watching it. And on that same day was March 19, 2023, the Pentagon posted characteristics of UFOs, and they said, will trigger X and K band spectrum. Speeds are 2,000 miles an hour. And I was puzzled, like, how did they get my data? How did they guess that? You just can't guess something like that. And so I put one and one together as Major Filer. He's telling me, Robert, we're watching your videos. We're copying your data, which is fine. It's all science. I don't mind.
For the best good,
It's exciting. I need to reach back out to him and a few other people. This keeps me very busy. I still do private consulting as pharmacy, but all day people are sending me videos and they say, Robert, check this out. And I slow it down. I interpolate it for them and I put it on my channel, and it's not going away. I get it. Some people want UFOs to go away. They want the story to go away. They're not leaving. They're not going to leave. I don't know how to politely express that. They're staying. If I was to throw away all 4,000 of my videos, I could build it up very quickly because people are sending me videos and air shows on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Within a year, I could have over 1,000 again.
Wow. It's definitely, that's why we're calling our show The Universe on Earth. It's because the universe is here and we're just waking up to it,
Oh yeah. There's a lot going on. I had this buddy, his name's Glenn Falkenstein. He passed away, but he was the world's most gifted psychic, extremely gifted. So if he was here, I mean, he could really go into that, but, so gifted that he was actually omniscient. He could close his eyes. He couldn't do anything with his eyes open, but with his eyes closed, he can answer any question in the universe instantly.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So and he's on YouTube. You can kind of check it out. He plays it off as magic, but it was anything but magic. Briefly, he was in the Air Force, 1948, 1952 in Iceland, in the Air Force. Well, when it was kind of funny. When every Saturday they'd have poker night. He said he'd always had to be the dealer. He can never be a player. And it's like, why is that? Because he said, I always knew what everybody's cards were.
So great.
And the dealer doesn't have a choice. They play by house rules. So he, when he left in 1952, he flew back to Andrews Air Force Base, July of 1952. And if you go back to the UFO encounters over Washington, D.C., was the whole month of July of 1952. So it's highly likely. Actually, he asked me, he said, Bob, he said, remember the UFOs in July of 52? And I was like, yeah, but Glenn, how would you know? I mean, I didn't really take in who I was talking to. I just, he goes, I was there. So evidently they were flying for 3 weeks just to say hello to Glenn, not really to say hello to the White House or to harass the Air Force Base, but just simply to say hello to Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
Glenn was in that category. So, I mean, we can talk about him a little later. So I'm not surprised that somehow I got lucky enough to figure out these dragons are here. He's that kind of guy. 25 years ago, he even said to me, hey, Robert, if you're interested in UFOs, let's go to Palmdale, California, and I'll ask them to fly by. It's like, well, I mean, of course I should have said yes. I said, well, Glenn, I'm really, really busy at the pharmacy. I can't. I should have said, well, back in 2017, I was thinking, I was at my desk. I said, I should have said yes. That was the wrong answer. I said, Glenn, I should have said yes. That was the wrong answer. And then within a week or so, all this started.
As you get into this and as we show up, like we show up at these spots, we look to the sky, we pay attention, more things start happening. It's almost like we're building this connection. And I wonder if for you, they show up for you. If you're actually, you see that starting to happen?
I do see the connection. Yeah, I do. I do see. To give you an example, 4 years ago, right before COVID, I went to Costco down the street because I had this psychic urge for 3 months. There was this psychic urging, go to Costco, buy a TV. And I ignored it. No, I don't want a TV. I have a TV. I don't want it. Just go and buy a TV. So after like 90 days, I gave in. I told my wife, okay, we got to go to Costco. We got to buy a TV. I take the TV out. I have my nephew with me, and I put it in my pickup truck. And while I'm standing in the pickup truck, I hear the LAPD flying in from behind me. So I go, I've got like a 30% chance this could work. I tell my nephew, Eric, turn your camera on. Just record this. Record me with the LAPD behind me. And I just simply said, the LAPD is behind me. I think they're here because dragons are here. The dragons are here because I'm here. When you look at the video, you'll see the dragon fly by.
Wow.
17-second video. That is exactly what happened. You can't make stuff like this happen. I have the video. I interpolated it. 17 seconds. I'm blown away by that. I'm blown away. But that's how active it is. It's consistent. It's never gone away. It's just a matter of time. Now we just need the Apaches, the Blackhawks, and the Coast Guard pilots to just come clean. Just like, come on, guys.
Because they're definitely seeing them. I mean, it's from the depth of your videos alone is pretty obvious if we just think logically about it. But, I think sometimes that's the problem, maybe, is that people are thinking too logically, and maybe we need to be using more of the skills that your friend had, and thinking universally about it.
Glenn was really, really the nicest person you ever meet. Very, very spooky. It took me 3 years before I wanted to be around him.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
if somebody can read your mind and know your future, I get it. It did 3 years, but it's there's just a lot going on here, and again, eventually the Coast Guard's going to have to. Uh, I just got way too many videos. I'm gonna say, come on, guys, what are you gonna do? You're chasing birds with predictability. I mean, you show up and these things fly over you. It's it's always over the same airspace within a 500-foot radius. I could do countdowns: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It flies by.
I
Over
saw that on that one of the videos. You basically said it's about to happen, and then
the
it happened.
pre-launch. Yeah,
Yeah.
the pre-launch. When I see them coming in, I just record the same air because they come off the ground in the same area. I go, okay, look at the ground here. He's going to come off the ground. He's going to fly at a 45-degree angle. And they did. They do. They just.
We
And
were in Puerto Rico interviewing you last month. There's a famous like Aguadilla airport video that's out. And what they've reported is there's more activity than ever, like lately. Like something's happened where they're just getting more and more reports. And it's also like military chasing UFOs, vice versa. There's just so much going on. It's a lot of it's between the military and the UFOs. And I just find that fascinating. Like, what the
of
heck
course.
is going on?
Well, I think that there's a lot of chaos in the world, and they're trying to maybe keep an eye on everything, maybe mitigate it. I hope. This attorney friend I was just telling you about last month, he recorded a first-time video. He recorded a swarm of these dragons. Normally, if you record two, that's a rare find. He recorded between 600 and 800 just flying. Yeah, very good video. Latchkey Hustle, if you want to check it out. Uh, there's something going on. I could only speculate. Maybe there's something wrong with the timeline. Maybe they're trying to tweak the timeline and fix it. Uh, I could kind of see why, because we're doing these experiments at CERN. We're using a lot of electricity. Electricity is key. In my opinion, electricity, it's all about electricity. How do UFOs fly? Electricity. How much? A lot. A lot. And they're using a lot of electricity in CERN, a lot. They may not be at the technology of these UFOs, but I think they're using enough electricity where they can bump the timeline around a tenth of a second or so. And that's enough to like get the attention of these dragons. But I do have videos of these things flying parallel with high voltage lines, which again leads me to assume they're doing a charge and go. They're running off electricity. And on some of the videos, you can kind of see these sparks. That's why I thought they look like wings. They're not wings. They're little lightning bolts. They're plasma jets. They're running on electricity. They got it figured out, and they're really good at it. So again, they're very predictable. You record high voltage lines, you'll see these things. And often you hear UFOs are over nuclear power plants or same thing. A lot of energy. I'm talking to somebody in Edison right now. I'm trying to ascertain. You ever notice a large spike of energy loss? And we're going back and forth very quietly, but yeah, they've always wondered, where's the electricity going? There's a lot of electricity is lost on interstate power lines, more than mathematically calculated.
So you think they're recharging there?
100%, yeah. Also, the jetty rocks, all the kinetic energy, the ocean hitting the waves, they just repurpose all that kinetic energy into electricity. Yeah.
It's definitely possible. And they're seen in high mountain ranges, which again, you can do the same thing, especially Mount Rainier with, a bunch of snow on it, and same thing.
Always look for power lines. Wherever you see UFOs, look for high voltage power lines. Skinwalker Ranch, look for high voltage power lines. They're nearby. They're just nearby. It's not that it's super hard to understand. It's just like somebody has to connect the dots. If I didn't have the video of this dragon coming down Lincoln Boulevard parallel with the high voltage lines, I wouldn't have figured it out. But it's through trial and error, and we're getting more and more videos and more information very quickly. If you want to bait them, probably the easiest Earth drones. I call them. I know you're like, why do you call it an Earth drone? Because I think these are kind of like drones. These are ET drones. But you could take. I have 3 or 4 drones in my neighborhood, and all of them have gotten tagged. Very predictable, very quickly. I couldn't turn my camera on fast enough. My neighbor was just launching one from his roof, and I turned my camera on and I said, I got to do this fast, like within 10 seconds. And within 10 seconds, this dragon just flies right past the Earth drone.
Awesome.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking? What we're doing tonight?
Calling him in?
Yeah. Getting the drone out.
Yep. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Get an Earth drone.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Fly it past 150 feet.
Okay.
And don't fly it over water because these guys are vampires. They'll suck out the energy from the battery and then you'll lose your drone. And had that happen to a neighbor. It fell into the wetlands. If you look on Google Maps, there's 600 acres of wetlands in Marina Del Rey. For now, they're going to leave it alone as a sanctuary. But he lost, he charged his Earth drone. It got tagged, and then it ended up landing in the marsh, and he never got it back. But basically, I would do that more often, but I live within 5 miles of an airport. I live 2 miles away from LAX. So technically that'd be illegal, so I don't do it.
Right.
That's what we found when we were down there. We thought, we'll fly our drone. And then when our drone pilot looked at where we were at, he's like, you can't fly a drone here. And I was like, wow, isn't that convenient?
Yeah, very, very convenient. But I'm just saying, if somebody else flies their drone, I will record it. And I will get new video. And then there's a few of those videos on YouTube. People are flying their Earth drone, like in Utah, I believe. And a dragon flies up and flies away. And I'm trying to explain to people that wasn't a random encounter. The dragon was reconning the Earth drone. So you made the video happen. Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
do you have any other questions?
I'm just excited. Like it's really impressive, all the research you've done and how many videos you've captured and how you kept with it. So thanks for sharing it with us.
No, thank you. I'm the kind of guy I focus, I take science serious. And when I do something, I'm not a perfectionist, but I want to do it right. And something like this, I'm not going to just throw in the towel. I'm going to really think about it and follow up. I think this is going to help humanity. And so this is my part. I want to pay it forward. Things have been good in the past for me. The pharmacy was good. Meeting someone like Glenn Falkenstein was amazing. I just want to pay it forward and let other people learn how to do this, record it, reach out to my channel once you get the video, custodianfile@gmail. And I'll walk you through it. It's again, not to see, this sounds so simple. The only reason it's simple is the technology in the iPhone, the smartphone. And that took 120 years and like 10 million engineers. That didn't happen on the weekend. So it's the effort of 10 million engineers, 120 years, and now we have this iPhone. And the iPhone can see this stuff. The iPhone can see infrared. If you're not sure what that is, take your remote control on your TV and point it at your phone, and you can see it flashing. You can see the light flashing. So the camera can see what the human eye cannot see. So that's why if it sounds simple, it is simple, but it's not simple because somebody had to invent the platform of the iPhone. But now we have digital cameras, and they work really well. They work very well. And so anyone can do this.
It's so cool. And thank you so much for chatting with us and explaining this. We will be sharing all your links and And, we might be calling you back too to ask you more questions if that's
Oh, no,
okay.
please, absolutely, 100%.
Cool.
That's what it's about. We share the information, help out one another, and evolve and go forward. It's
Yep.
exciting.
It is exciting, and that's why we're doing what we're doing, is just we keep finding all these people that are doing amazing work just like yours, and we want to share it. We want more people to see it and share the tools, share the, like you said, evolve faster. So this
Where you are.
is about amplifying everyone's like highest good that they're doing.
Everyone really kind of loves us. Very few people are. I mean, there's a few people say, Robert, these could be demonic, but I'm not in that orbit. I wouldn't, and I would sense that. I would discern that this is evil. No, this is something good and something fantastic is going on here. And I'm excited. Long term, what I like to see, if we could learn what they know about electricity, we could take that knowledge and we can make X-ray machines at the hospital 500% higher resolution, which means we can diagnose problems so much faster. So that's what excites me here.
That excites me too.
Yeah,
that really excites me.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of really good possibilities about learning more about this technology. Definitely.
Yeah. I say, let's just jump in. So feel free to reach out anytime. Email me. Hey, Robert, do you have this video? Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Oh, thank you so much. You're such an awesome resource, and and lots of fun to hear your story too.
Thank you. No, anytime.